Coming up, Tzu Chi volunteers in China offer their assistance to tornado survivors in Jiangsu Province. Tzu Chi checks the construction quality of the 16 Project Hope schools in Hualien and Taitung to ensure their quake-proof standards. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Mary Shioda. Thank you for joining us. We begin today's program in China. Jiangsu Province's Yancheng City was recently devastated by a tornado, which killed nearly 100 people and injured more than 800. Tzu Chi volunteers traveled to the hardest hit area of Funing County to care for victims. Volunteers also donated Jiangsu multi-purpose folding beds and blankets for victims of the disaster to use.
After the tornado, Funing County was turned into a pile of rubble. The government's disaster relief, along with other groups in the community, have begun the cleanup effort. Tzu Chi volunteers are visiting the victims and bringing relief packages.
小孩就没有了，小孩就没有了，几岁？3岁。哦，爸爸妈妈还他爸爸妈妈还在。爸爸不在家，他就和妈妈在家。妈妈在家，所以小孩子就没有了。
Grandma Song tells the sad tale of her granddaughter being crushed by a collapsed house. In the Funing People's Hospital, this family worries about their future as their house was destroyed.
The government has lots of resources and they will take good care of you, so you can rest assured and try to recuperate.
What are you worried about? Losing everything? Don't think so much. Just go slowly and take one step at a time.
Sharing this emotion brings this group together as they mutually understand each other's plight and understand the need to rebuild their homes. This hospital lobby is crowded with patients, along with their family members. Volunteers are using humor to lighten the mood.
Yes, you got a few stitches on your forehead. Is it still painful? Yes, be brave and strong. And I think you'll be okay because you can still laugh and smile. This comforts us.
As the injured sit on the floor, volunteers immediately dispatch 200 Jiangsu folding beds from the Tzu Chi Suzhou grounds. The beds arrive overnight, and together with a blanket, these victims are able to get a better night's sleep. These beds also earn the praise of local search and rescue teams.
There's a great need of these beds. On the evening of June 23rd and 24th, you could see all of our armed forces and police sleeping on the ground.
Wang Lili, who works in the Tzu Chi Suzhou grounds, isn't able to visit her injured mother, so 10 Tzu Chi volunteers paid a visit to show her concern and filial piety.
Wang Lili is in Suzhou and couldn't come over, so we came to show our concern for you. Peace and safety are the most important things.
Showing care and compassion immediately after a disaster is the first step in the recovery. Tzu Chi volunteers are committed to helping the victims along the entire path of recovery.
The Tzu Chi Foundation continues to hold rice distributions in Haiti's Cité Soleil, this time helping 3,117 impoverished families by providing over 6,200 bags of rice. Since Haiti and Taiwan have political ties, the TECO representative to Haiti joined the distribution event to thank the volunteers for their efforts in helping to feed the people of Haiti. Soldiers with guns. A restless crowd. Scenes like these are often seen when Tzu Chi Foundation holds an aid distribution in Haiti. In this third world country, trust is easily broken. Armored security trucks escort the rice-filled trucks to the distribution venue. For 2 continuous days, volunteers held aid distributions in Cité Soleil, an extremely impoverished and densely populated commune in Port-au-Prince. Incidentally, Cité Soleil is also recognized internationally as one of the poorest and most dangerous areas in the Western Hemisphere.
That type of suffering, it reminds me of what the Master talks about in her teachings, as well as the sutra text. How can we relieve the suffering of these sentient beings? How can we purify society to bring peace and harmony to it? This path is not an easy one to travel.
Though the road is difficult ahead, volunteers persevere as they know their efforts are appreciated by the recipients.
I ate avocado or sugarcane in the past, but since I've received Tzu Chi's rice, whenever I run out of food, I'd fondly remember your rice.
It's happiness like this that has sustained the volunteers in bringing Taiwan's rice to Haiti.
The United Nations and the United States continue to call on other countries to help Haiti's food crisis. In the past few years, Tzu Chi has done just that. I'm very grateful that Tzu Chi has been holding rice distributions in Haiti.
This area, nearly forgotten by the world, is brightened with love once more, thanks to Tzu Chi's care. In Malaysia's capital of Malacca, a 100-year-old historic brick house was destroyed during a recent fire. Neighborhood volunteers contacted Tzu Chi to provide relief assistance to the owners of this property so they may begin rebuilding their home as soon as possible.
Black smoke billowed into the sky as a fire blazed in the neighborhood. At the time, the owners and their friends were just starting dinner when a sudden, strong gust of wind spread the fire throughout the house, causing everyone to evacuate. This 100-year-old house that they were living in was soon gone.
And her mother also staying here. Her grandfather also stayed here. So this house has been stayed here by her family for about 130 years. So very sad.
The fire is suspected to have begun at a small adjacent wooden hut, potentially by someone carelessly discarding a stray cigarette butt. This property damage is estimated to be about $25,000, but the owners believe that their greatest loss will be the memories associated with this house.
We gather here for especially Christmas. So actually this place we have our family gathering. And it has been going on for the last maybe 15 years. 20 years it has been going on.
Their neighbors called Tzu Chi to come and assess the situation.
They are smiling, but you don't know what they're thinking. They've already said that this house has been around for 100 years or so, and when it has suddenly burnt down like this, I doubt they know what to say. It's very painful for them.
A day later, Tzu Chi delivered emergency aid funds to help with their loss. The family was very grateful.
I'd like to thank Tzu Chi because people say 1,000 is not much, but to me it's a lot. It's the first step to reach my 100,000.
With love as a foundation, this century-old house would be reconstructed and filled with warmth once again.
Tzu Chi's Project Hope of disaster risk reduction is assisting 16 schools in the Hualien and Taitung area to rebuild their classrooms or other important structural buildings. To ensure that these campuses are built to withstand earthquakes, recently, the Tzu Chi Foundation asked civil engineers to survey the current construction sites. Tzu Chi volunteers and architects carefully examine the rebar arrangements of the columns on campus. As this construction site is part of Tzu Chi's Project Hope of disaster risk reduction, things cannot be taken lightly.
In terms of safety standards, if you build according to plans, then there's a certain percentage of safety guarantee. But if you don't build it like the plans and an earthquake hits the building, then damage is likely to occur.
Zhongyuan Elementary School in Hualien is among the schools selected for Tzu Chi's rebuilding project. After the construction is completed, the special education classroom will be moved to the ground floor from the basement level, easing the teacher's worries of her students.
Sometimes when a student has a seizure, the time it takes the paramedics to reach the student is often delayed. But now that time is greatly reduced. From a safety point of view, I am very grateful for this change.
The director of Tzu Chi's education mission not only joined the survey of the campus, but also took an interest in the children's education.
The master's wish is that every school is built safely. We also hope that children who get an education in these buildings will have a good learning environment in the future.
The quake assessment on these 16 school campuses in the Hualien and Taitung area will continue despite the blistering heat, as all those involved just want to ensure a safe learning environment for the children. In recent years, the Taiwan government has sped up the reconstruction of military dependence villages. Unfortunately, dormitories for single veterans weren't included in such plans, as their plight has been largely neglected. According to data from the Veterans Affairs Council, of the approximately 390,000 veterans, some 7,000 are elderly and live alone in poverty. Across the island, there are 5 different dormitories for single veterans, one of which is the Xianghe Mountain Villa, located in Kaohsiung's Zuoying area, where the average age of veterans there is 86 years old.
This is my house.
多大
4平
Living in this 12-square-meter dormitory is 90-year-old veteran Liu Yuchao. He has been living here for 40 years. At the age of 14, he was conscripted into the military in Guangdong's Zhongshan, and he lost his right arm during the fighting.
In
1950, we were defending Hainan Island from the communists when I became a disabled soldier and unable to qualify for promotion or raises. The poor living conditions at this dormitory for single veterans also meant that I didn't dare to get married.
At the age of 70, Lil did get married to a Chinese bride.
There was a time when I had a cold and I wanted a drink of water. And I thought, if you died right here on this bed, nobody would know about it.
Located in Kaohsiung's Zuoying is the Shanhe Mountain Villa. It was built for single veterans, with the majority in the early days being from the Navy and Marines.
This Shanhe Mountain Villa was built in 1971 and at its peak housed around 3,000 veterans, with their numbers declining steadily to just 200 individuals at the moment.
这是你年轻的时候的照片，知不知道？
Cai Wanzhang is 95 years old and is suffering from dementia. Fortunately, his wife still cares for him. At the age of 17 years old, he defended the Burma Road and is one of the rare veterans in Taiwan to work on an expeditionary force.
He was part of Sun Liren's army, and he came to Taiwan from Shanghai after the military retreated.
这是那个午餐哈。
谢谢你讲。
好，不客气。
90-year-old veteran Zheng Xinxuan came to Taiwan when he was 20 years old and only returned to China to look for relatives when he was 60. Many family and friends were no longer there, and even his comrades in this veterans' dormitory are slowly fading away.
Formerly, there would be 2 military officers in each room, and it was quite full. Now there are only 3 people left in this 4-story building.
Each veteran has his own story, and many are honest and thrifty. Some even eat simple meals of bread or even skip meals, though they don't have any regrets.
I have no regrets about being a soldier. It has given me the chance to live safely and happily into old age.
Spending nearly a lifetime in Taiwan, most veterans don't desire luxury accommodations, only the respect of their community.
The Body Water Park explosion that happened on June 27, 2015 was the worst human-caused public safety accident in Taiwan's history. A total of 499 people were injured, with 15 fatalities. Today, we'll meet survivor 20-year-old Peng Wenyu and 22-year-old Zhao Ziting to see how they are doing 1 year after the tragedy.
I lost a lot of skin. 64% of my body's surface was burned. That's just how it happened. But despite that, I feel like I have received much more kindness from people than pain from my condition.
The This has just been another stretch of track on Zhao Zhiting's life path. After the tragic event at the Formosa Fun Coast Water Park, Zhao, who was a runner, had to learn how to walk again. He started running half a year after being discharged from the hospital and now runs over 3,000 meters every day.
Before Tzu Chi had the accident, I never used the glasses. After the accident, I cried too much, and my vision deteriorated. When you dress the wounds, sometimes the skin will tear, and that is when it really hurts.
你自己用力举起来，我看。
再抬高一点。
很好啊，我就轻轻扶你而已耶，所以你自己其实可以的，只是要费力而已。做5下，做1次就好了，然后放开。
我想好好陪爸爸妈妈，因为我觉得我这个月，就是他们对我付出太多了。
像我出院之后，我都会去。
After I got out of the hospital, I just felt like all the care and attention I received from others, I just wanted to give the same care to others. So I started supporting a child from Taiwan and one from a foreign country through Taiwan Fund for Children and Families, and I felt like I really wanted to make an effort for them.
Before, I was jealous of people that were not burned as badly as myself. But when I really think back, I realized there were people who were burned much more badly than me. Thinking of them will make my heart ache. And also realized that in some ways, I was fortunate.
好痛哦！太痛了，太痛了！你如果大叫，我可能就这里会变得很可怕。复健像是下了18层地狱。
Recovery was like going through hell. I always said about physical therapy that it was like a kind of torture done by some villainous maiden in a classic soap opera. But seriously, it was so extremely painful, the kind of pain that makes you scream and cry invulnerably.
那种痛就是会让你不自主的就开始尖叫的那种。
Along with her schedule of 5 days of therapy every week, Peng Wenyu also made sure to get out of the hospital.
我等下带你去一个地方，走饰那种耳环那种批发店。看这个绿色很可爱。
Her hobby, making beaded bracelets, helped her recover her dexterity.
有时候我会为了做一条手链而拆掉好几个。
If you take a look at this area, originally it was really thick, but after her father helped with her therapy every day, now it has softened up. It used to be very hard.
After the disaster, Peng Wenyu's father, Peng Shitai, quit his job so that he could care for his daughter full time.
I've been the servant in the house, looking after her.
Despite the tragedy that struck these young people last year, they have remained strong and are facing the future each day as it comes. In medical education, standardized patients not only provide medical students with the opportunity to become more compassionate communicators, they can also help train nurses. To bridge the gap between what nursing students learn at school and clinical experience, Tzu Chi University's nursing department has incorporated standardized patients into its curriculum, teaching the students to examine patients.
老师说的，你跟病人认识吗？
Nurses who attend to patients' needs shouldn't feel intimidated about facing patients. Tzu Chi University's Department of Nursing has therefore incorporated standardized patients, or SPs, into its class teaching students to examine patients since 2009.
I think evaluating a patient's condition is a basic skill, and we need to do it thoroughly to discover the patient's problems. I need to improve my skills before I can evaluate the patients.
Nursing education not only focuses on skills, but also communication. In 2010, Tzu Chi University, former Tzu Chi University of Science and Technology, and St. Mary's Junior College of Nursing joined a competition to evaluate the clinical skills of nursing students in eastern Taiwan.
We hope to bridge the gap between clinical experience and what we teach at school. Compassionate nurses are the most beautiful. Patients hope that we can empathize with their feelings.
To improve medical education, Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital works with Tzu Chi University to train clinical nursing specialists with the assistance of SPs. Yu Yating, a clinical nurse specialist at Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital, underwent training with the assistance of SPs at the graduate school of Tzu Chi University. She's now going through training to become a teacher who trains SPs.
I will learn about how I could do a better job by giving back.
In addition, Tzu Chi has helped the Mennonite Christian Hospital with its training and testing of clinical nurse specialists.
With such practice, when we treat patients, we can avoid making mistakes or delaying the proper treatment.
In the aging society, long-term care is becoming increasingly important. Therefore, Tzu Chi University's Department of Nursing has sought the assistance of elderly SPs who simply portray themselves.
During my internship at the hospital, I met patients who suffer from dementia or from strokes. I can apply what I've learned at the school to the patient's evaluation, recognizing things such as abdominal or neurological examination.
Although national exams require the assistance of SPs under the age of 70, elderly SPs can still help students learn in this class. 75-year-old Guang Wenjun, who has been serving as an SP for 10 years, also benefited from the experience.
I'm really happy because the chance is hard to come by. We were tested and underwent training before we could help out at national exams. I'm deeply grateful to them.
With the assistance of SPs, medical and nursing students have the opportunity to become more compassionate communicators. SPs can also assist in the training of nutritionalists and other medical professionals, and thus plays a vital role in medical education.
Tzu Chi volunteers in New Taipei City were invited to join a school fair at Qingtan Elementary. Besides setting up a booth to sell secondhand items, volunteers also taught the students how to sort recyclables. We will leave you with these images at the end of the program. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. See you next time.